This meeting to order. This is the City of Las Vegas Charter Commission meeting, October 2nd, 2024. And Ms. Cassandra?
Commissioner Matt Martinez.
Present.
Commissioner Ashley Arianes. Commissioner Meredith Britt. Here. Commissioner Joseph Cruz.
Present.
Commissioner Lauren Martinez is absent. We do have a quorum. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This time we'll stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. If I can have a motion for approval of the agenda as is.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, a second by Commissioner Arianes. Motion carries. Moving on to the next item, public input. We had no public input this afternoon. So moving on to our welcome introduction by Mayor David Romero.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to, I think I know most of you, so I don't think I have to go too much into introduction. But, I was appointed mayor in November, officially in December, by the governing body. As we're moving forward, here we are, this charter commission, and I think I spoke with most of you on what the general idea of what the roles are. But I'll go through introductions. I know Miss Lauren Martinez was appointed by Councilman David Ulivari in Ward 1. Benito Pacheco, you were appointed for Ward 2. Mr. Matt, you were appointed by our municipal judge. Meredith, you were appointed by Councilor Casey for Ward 3. Joseph, you were appointed by Councilman Martinez in Ward 4. And then we had two at-large, that are appointed by the mayor, and that's Miss Ashley Arianes and Joseph Dominguez. So thank you guys for saying yes. In this day and age, it's very hard to get people to volunteer and, especially with, the circumstances sometimes with the trust of government. So for getting you guys to volunteer, especially, to me, the Charter Commission is probably one of the most important commissions that are put together through the city, because at the end of the day, anything that, you guys recommend for approval and it gets passed by the community, that's the law that we govern by here at the city. So thank you guys. And I don't know, Mr. Pacheco, if you want to, take a minute and kind of, say what you do. I know the community, these meetings are being televised, so I'm sure that we have viewers. So just kind of a little introduction. If you want to go down the line, each one of you, and kind of say what you guys do. And thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Romero. Benito Pacheco, what I do for a living is I'm an associate vice president at Highlands University. I'm a resident of Las Vegas, New Mexico, born and raised here. I have a vested interest in just trying to move our community forward in a positive fashion, and I look forward to working with all of the committee and trying to get some positive outcomes in place for Las Vegas.
And I'm Matt Martinez, SDC Broadcasting here in Las Vegas. We have 4 stations here and 1 in Albuquerque. Lifelong member of the community. I guess I'm the fortunate one to now have been on the Charter Commission for the 3rd time. The initial time was, I think, very successful. Probably took a year, I think, to go through that process. The second time was interesting. We went through a rough patch without an attorney, almost till the end. And then we were able to finally get some recommendations to the council. But I also have a vested interest. I've served as mayor and as city councilor, and have served on a number of committees for the community for many, many years. So continue to find time to do stuff for our community, and want to make sure that we do the best we can that can affect every single member of the community. So I stand open to to learn and help in any way that I can.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Meredith Britt. I was asked by Councilor Casey to be on this committee, and I thought it would, oh, sorry.
If you guys don't mind, you'll
Yeah.
noticed.
Oh, I get so mad at Councilor Casey when I can't hear her. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I thought it would be fascinating to be on this committee and that I would learn a lot and have a better understanding of our community. I've served on several city advisory committees, the Utilities Committee, the ADA Committee, the Housing Committee, and volunteered at the shelter. And so I'm just fascinated to be here and looking forward to what we do.
My name is Joseph Cruz. I'm a part-time social worker, and I have a handyman construction business. Councilor Martinez asked me to serve as a commissioner on this, and I'd like to, see the community move forward with positive, engagement from community. I'm also a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, and we're moving forward with that, so thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah. My name is Ashley Arianes. First and foremost, I'm a mother of 2 toddlers. Aside from that, I have a small business, a photography business. I am the technical assistant for the New Mexico Acequia Commission at the state. I work a lot during the legislative session under a lobbyist, doing capital outlay requests for government agencies, and I'm also the chair for the Animal Advocates group that started here in Las Vegas back in September. So I am definitely invested in this town. I love it. I'm not leaving. I hope to raise my kids here, and all of that is why I really feel passionate about this commission.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Dominguez. I'm a native of Las Vegas. And what I do for a living is I'm the Associate Vice President at New Mexico Highlands University for the Division of Student Affairs. Underneath that umbrella, we have residential facilities that I oversee, over 500 student on-campus residents, as well as student life and campus recreation. I am a father of a 2-year-old, and it's my understanding that essentially the charter is the city's constitution. So I look forward to building upon that, learning, and seeing what I can bring to the table for the residents of Las Vegas as well as the city.
Again, thank you, guys, and I know, as we move along, I know here later on in the agenda, you guys will be basically electing the chairperson and vice chair. Today's is more a introduction. Cassandra will be going over bylaws, the charter, just in general, so you have a copy. Moving forward, what we'd be doing is, our next meeting would probably be a joint meeting with the council, just so you could kind of, hear some ideas from us. But at the end of the day, I want to, this charter commission, anything you guys come up with, of course, we'll have our ideas. I know the previous charter commission, would you say, input from the council was kind of last minute. I know Cassandra will also go over a timeline. So we want to have that engagement to where, we don't end up where the council might be in complete disagreement. I think there's a balance. And I think we're all under the same understanding that our charter is outdated. There's some conflicts now with state statute, and Miss Cassandra, and I'll introduce her. She's our city clerk. And Cassandra, if you don't mind, maybe just saying a few words on how long you've been here and what you've done.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being here. I pretty much met all of you right before the meeting, and I'm glad to be here. Mayor Romero has asked me to join you during this process of reviewing the charter, so I'll be with you the whole time. And it's going to take quite a while, a few months. But I've been the city clerk for the city of Las Vegas for 15 years, and I've been with the city a total of 22 years, so I've been here a while. So I'm glad to be here to assist in any way I can, so please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm sure the mayor will probably have me be doing the minutes as well, so, so you're stuck with me for a while. Thank you.
And also, as we have, you guys will have your next meeting alone, we'll also have an attorney on board. That attorney will be, at your discretion, however you guys seem fit to, make sure that as you're making recommendations or changes to this charter, that, we have the legal involved since the beginning and not create something and we end up with something that we violate state law. So I'll, again, thank you guys for serving, and I'll let Ms. Cassandra kind of go through the business of this.
So our next item on the agenda is this discussion item, and I placed in front of you the bylaws. These bylaws have been in place, I believe, since 2022. Our city attorney at the time put these together, and they were pretty much the same for all of the different boards, commissions, and advisory committees. And in looking at these bylaws, the Charter Commission, the only thing I could find in there that wouldn't apply to all of you is the on page 2, Article 5, the terms of service. And I think you know that, Mr. Martinez, Commissioner Martinez, from the last time that you had these, I think, same bylaws. And this commission isn't for a term of 4 years, and that's it'll be until you review this charter and make a recommendation to the governing body. And we do have I put together a while back a timeline. And at the time, the timeline was going to be for the review of the Charter Commission would be ending in March 31st of 2025. So we may have to change that just because we started late. I had all of us looking at this charter beginning July, and as you can see, we're already September. So the way I put this timeline together, I'm basically going backwards from the time that I need to turn the ballot question of approval of the charter. That needs to be into the Secretary of State by between June, I believe it's June 7th and July 7th. So then the governing body also has to review your recommendation of the charter, and that's going to take some time as well. So, Mayor, I don't know if you want an item on our next agenda or maybe the following, and asking the governing body for some direction as a whole as to when they would like the term to be. And then we can go from there. Because as you know, Commissioner Martinez, it does take a while to go. And this time around, the governing body agreed that the whole charter would be looked at, not just certain questions. It would be the entire charter, so that's a lot to go through. Did you want to add anything, Mayor, in reference to the bylaws?
And again, these are just for discussion item. I mean, at the end, if you
Right.
guys want to make any changes or recommendation, at that point, I know later today, you guys will be appointing a chair. You just let the chair know, and from here on out, it'll be you guys, you know what I mean? This is your committee, your changes. And you guys have the authority to make whatever recommendations. All I ask is, we'll meet with the governing body as a group, so that way you kind of, and again, it could even be one as a group, but if you want to call us in, I know last time we came in individually and kind of give a presentation on certain changes we thought that should be made. But, it's totally up to you. Again, you guys are the commission. It's all your authority. Don't be influenced by us politicians over here. This is the citizens group, and, this is what the original charter, when the commission was put together, that was the intention, right, is to have regular citizens put together what our Constitution should be, so.
And I did place a copy of the charter in front of you so that you can take home and read it. I think I sent it to you electronically. I'm not sure if all of you were able to open that. But anyhow, and that way you can start reviewing it.
It is on the website too.
Yes.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, Cassandra, and members of the commission, a lot's changed since the original charter was put together, and I'm trying to remember. I think that in the first version of the changes that we did, some of them were retroactive. If it passed that day, we automatically got some of the recommendations to start, because they were in conflict with the old charter if we wouldn't have done it that way. So I'm not too sure, Cassandra, if that's something that we would look at now, if there's something that we would want to pass right away, if the citizens vote for it, after it's gone through the process, that they're retroactive immediately. That way it can help give direction to the governing body.
I believe we would need to get with the attorney
Yeah.
on that question, but
The second group, we didn't. We flew by the seat of our pants, and then we got to the council last, and then, from what I remember, we recommended, let's just say, for example, 6 or 7 items. Ultimately, there was like 13 of them that were approved that we didn't approve. The council did those, some of those on their own. So I think, Mr. Mayor, if at all possible, however we end up going through this process, if we put together something, we send it to the mayor and council, and they're not happy with it, I would hope that they would send it back for us to continue to review, sort of like the planning and zoning does, and then review it amongst ourselves, the community, and then send it back for, instead of piecemealing this thing, because it'll go crazy doing that. But that's what I recommend. But I'm almost sure the first time we did it retroactive, because like now, you can't have a special election with names of individuals until the general election that's set up like we are going to have in 2025. So a lot of things have changed since then, because there's not places to do things that you could automatically do before. So we just have to fall in line with state law, I guess.
There's a lot, especially pertaining to, Cassandra's position on elections and stuff like that, that our charter's outdated where, it contradicts state statute, or statutes have been changed since the adoption of the original, and I think it's 2010 when it was first adopted.
that's great.
2010, when that charter was adopted, there's been a lot of statutes that have been changed that were contradict a lot of things. So, that's why it's important that, we did put an RFP out. I don't know where they are with the contract on that, but we did get, an attorney specific for this group.
And that approval will be going to the next meeting next week on the 9th.
Is there previous minutes from the previous charters filed
Yes,
somewhere?
yes, there is. And I can get those to everybody if that's what you would like.
They're that thick.
May I ask who is the attorney that you have in mind?
Yes, there was one attorney that came in through the RFP, and that was Gino Zamora with Zamora and Law Firm, or Tees and Zamora Law Firm, out of Santa Fe.
Thank you.
Questions on the bylaws, or no? And again, you guys could review them and at the next meeting, officially adopt them if there are any changes, or get with Cassandra, whoever the chair is, as you guys elect a chair here later on, just get with your chair and, make suggestions again. There's just some OMA requirements that if you guys do have a, call for a meeting that Cassandra will have to, I don't think, you probably weren't prepared on that, like on meetings yet? Like-
Yes, in fact, we're going to we're going to determine the future dates
Oh, okay.
for the Charter Commission meetings. That's the second business item.
Okay,
So,
so we'll go to the next item, Ms. Cassandra.
so yes, our first business item is election of a chairperson and vice chairperson. Do I have any nominations?
Question? It's probably obvious that the chairperson would chair the meeting, but what other duties do these two positions involve?
Basically, the chair, in this situation, the chair would just, would have the same rights or authority as the rest of you. The only difference is this individual will be running the meeting, probably working really closely with Ms. Cassandra or the attorney. Basically be the voice of this body, of this commission.
Voiced on NBC and CBS
No,
or?
the voice as in, let's say, when we have, let's say, as the governing body, we want the Charter Commission to present an update or something, right? So they would be the one, and I'm sure, whoever it is, I'm sure they wouldn't be the only one, but they'd be the main person that would be responsible for coming and giving the update.
Thank you.
Yep.
So at this time then, I'll make a motion, due to this gentleman being on previous commission charters, I make a nomination for Matt Martinez to be the chair.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Cruz, a second by Mr. Pacheco. Oh my God, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez.
In favor.
What was that?
In favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Pacheco.
Favor.
Commissioner Cruz.
Yes.
Commissioner Britt. Yes. Commissioner Arianes.
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez.
Yes, and thank you. I don't know if I got more work, but
I
it was
have-
fun.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cruz and a second by Commissioner Pacheco. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Motion carries. You are the new chair. Now
The new
for
chair,
the,
so my work's done here now.
Oh, my God. Mayor, I don't know what you guys did here, but I guess the next position is vice chair, and I think I'd like to at least hear from someone who's interested in being the vice chair, instead of us just, is someone interested in that? We miss a meeting, and it's going to take some time. The first one, I think, was about a year. The second one, maybe a little longer, I think a year and a half. So if there's anyone who would like to consider that, it's a time thing more than anything else, above and beyond our meetings sometimes.
I would be willing. I don't know if that's the same as interested, but I'm willing.
Is anyone else?
I'll also be interested in serving as a vice chair. I have no more time on my hands right now, so.
Oh, now we're in trouble. Anybody else? We
thank
can
you.
start
I think,
flipping coins here, like,
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
members of the charter, if I can say this, given my workload and my current obligations, I would like to strictly give my skills to the editorialing process and updating the charter specifically. So any positions, I am not currently interested in that, but I have no problem with the rest of the workload.
I also wouldn't mind, but you'd have to teach me because this is very new for me. So
I would say for myself that this is a new process for me in terms of participating in a civic engagement of this type. I think there are others that are a bit more seasoned with more experience that could better serve in that position at this time. However, I am committed to the work that needs to be done and offering my expertise.
we have two people that are interested.
Or three.
Well, three, actually, yeah, three. I'm sorry. I'm learning how to count here at the same time. So I guess if there's any way that you guys might want to consider supporting somebody else or each other, it's up. I'm up to any type of recommendation.
Chairman, today I believe it's about trying to get our younger generation involved as well. And, if Ms. Arianes is willing to take the vice chair position, I'd like to nominate her for that. And I feel she'd be a strong person to serve as that. And, we're all here together to do the same thing, right? To move the charter forward for positivity and all that. And so I would like to nominate Ms. Arianes for that. position, if she's willing to take that.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Ms. Brent, you were gonna say something?
I was going to second it.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, then it's gonna get easier then. Thank you very much. There's a motion and a second. All in favor of our new Vice Chair, Ashley Arianes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Next item is determine the future dates of the Charter Commission meetings. I guess I'm grateful to Cassandra for working with me. I guess in the business world, I'm in that part, and some of us are, so I know it gets real crazy. Mondays and Fridays, I pretty much have always said, those are off limits, because I don't know what it is in the business world. If you're all weekend, you think about the things you need to do, so you call to get things done on Monday. And then if it didn't get done through the week, they call back on Friday. So I've always said those 2 dates are tough. So I don't like, in the boards that I've been on, I don't like scheduling Mondays and Fridays. And the only other obligation that I have is on Thursdays, I go to Albuquerque to check on my other station. So I'm available Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But that's something that I guess we can work through.
Mr. Chair, if I may make a recommendation, just by looking at our open meetings resolution, we have a lot of different committees that are scheduled on different days of the week, of the month as well. And the first Wednesday of the month really looks good for, if that works for everybody. That's what today is, the first Wednesday of the month. And then you can choose a time. That's my recommendation.
Cassandra, I'm assuming that you think we need to meet once a month.
I don't know how soon.
Is that often enough?
Probably at the beginning, we're going to probably be meeting maybe every other week. And then there's the process where we've got to meet with the council, then we've got to come back and work on the work that they recommended. And then we have to have public meetings with the community. And hopefully we can have a number of those, right, Mr. Mayor? That's what you wanted to do. And in some cases, we need to be sort of flexible for the community to come and give us some input. And then when it's all said and done, I think it'd be really good at the end that the Charter Commission recommend the final product to the community. Are we going to be 100% satisfied? It's going to be hard, but I'll tell you what, it's the community that we have to keep in mind. So I think we need to be flexible at the beginning. And then as we go forward, it's easier to schedule an extra meeting here and there, but I think at least once a month.
So, Mr. Chair, what we can do is have our regular meetings the first Wednesday of the month and then call the specials whenever we need to.
Fine with everyone? So does
Works for
Wednesday work
me.
for everybody? First Wednesday of the month? Yes. As the regular meeting? Everybody fine? So
Yes.
then I'll entertain a motion.
I did have a question. Are we going to keep it at this, the same time, or is the time
The time's
flexible?
Flexible, right?
From my preference would be meeting at a bit later than what we are today.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock would work great for me. But I don't know how the rest of the commission, how that works with their schedule.
I actually, Wednesdays are the only days I don't have my kids, so I get them at 6 o'clock, so I could do any time from first thing at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
4 probably works for me as well. That sounds kind of like
Me
a good ending of regular business day.
That's fine. What I'll do now is when I get back to the office, I'll just block the first Wednesday of every month after lunch. Just block it.
Nito, is that-
Yes, that'll work great for me. First Wednesday at 4.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the date of the month and the time.
So I make a motion that the regular meeting be held the first Wednesday of the month at 4 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Question, please.
Go ahead, Meredith.
Would you please tell us again our deadline? When ideally this is all done?
So the governing body has to also do the final, and so they need some time to review what your recommendation is. And I'm thinking, I had down here April and May was when the governing body would review it. So I'm thinking you have through April probably the first part of April.
Thank you.
And I have one more question to you, Cassandra. Now, you've had the opportunity to work through a lot of this. So pretty much the way I see the work that we have to do comes from some of the stuff that you've already identified as, we either fell through the cracks, it conflicts with state law, or whatever other things, or another city ordinance, that kind of stuff. So I think we're probably going to heavily recommend that you consider, at least doing some work on maybe the bylaws and on the charter itself, and maybe highlighting the areas, and then we can start discussing, one bit by bit all the way through, and then trying to get some input from the council, from the community, to see what's in the best interest of the community. So that's
Certainly.
that's a lot of work, but is that a fair question?
Yes, I can do that. And along with the attorney that will be assisting us, so we can do that together.
I can't stress enough how important the attorney is. I cannot stress enough. In fact, I'm just going to go back and talk a little bit about a story. When we finished all of the work the first time, in a council meeting, we came in the council chambers that was smaller at the time. We had the entire committee approve it, went to council for approval, okay? And then it was rejected because we needed to take care of a few things. So it went back to the commission. So unfortunately, there were 11 members of the board. Exactly one more than the majority came to the meeting. The other ones protested. So we were able to get the last remaining person by phone to approve it, and that's how we got it done. It went through the council for approval, and the whole piece passed the community the first time unanimously. Well, with a very big majority. But it was crazy having to go through that process, because literally half of the board decided not to show up at the last minute, so that this could be postponed for a whole other 4 years, or 2 years at the time. And we had done too much work to do that. We were able to get the last person by phone. That's how it passed. So by the skin of our teeth. But I think the process was so much better when you had an attorney since the beginning. So I highly recommend it. I've visited with the mayor about that, and you, Cassandra, we need one here when we start.
Totally agree with that.
Any other discussion, any other questions? Go ahead, Ashley.
Whenever we do, and how we conduct business, is there a quorum amount that we need? Is there?
Yes, that would be 4 out of the 7.
Any other questions?
Chairman Martinez, if I may, from a logistical perspective, because I'm big on deadlines and dates. If the original date was March 25th, can we just solidify, do you guys want to shoot for April 11th and just stick to that date? That way we know that we're going to work towards something. And if we have the city attorney or the attorney that's going to be part of this process involved, hopefully in the next 2 meetings, I would like that if the RFP and all that's done. But that way we have a deadline, people are aware of the deadline. We know we have till this date to get the work done, and we just all work together on it.
Cassandra, can I ask real quick, in regards to your timeline, because you put it together some time ago, and I know you have to check with the Secretary of State's office, right? Still with some of those deadlines?
The deadlines are still the same.
They're still saying, okay. So do you want us to wait till the next meeting to give us maybe a document that shows all the breakdown?
Yes, let's do that.
Is that
I
better?
can bring it.
Yeah. So it shows us when we have to do this, that, and the other. The ultimate thing is, no matter how much work we do here, the city council is the final say. And then the process starts with Cassandra trying to get, hopefully, the entire document to the community for consideration, right, Mayor?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
And that's the whole, one thing that I want to emphasize is that we have to have a lot of engagement in between, right? Whether if it's a combined meeting that we have to have, or, calling us individually, I think that's the important part, because we don't want to get to the point where you guys did all this work and, it gets to us and it's like, no, start again. There has to be a lot of engagement between the two. And what I'm going to suggest to the council when we do discuss this is that, one of us try to be at the meeting so we kind of know what's going on, what the discussion is. If not, these are being recorded, they could go and check on YouTube and watch it and just kind of keep up as to know what the discussion is, right? It's easy to say, well, how did they come up with this? But a lot of discussion, whether it's the community, whether it's us, or whoever you bring as you're making these decisions, you know, for testimony or whatever you guys decide, that's gonna be important, right? So it's gonna be important that we're also on top of what you guys are doing. That way we don't just, come to the end and say, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. And we gotta forget, you know, throw that I out of the window, right? It's what the community needs, so. I think that's the, you know, I'm gonna make sure as mayor that that happens, the engagement. So I just ask the same way that we, you know, as you guys as a commission do the same thing.
Mr. Mayor, I think you're absolutely correct. In fact, because of, I think, the unsuccessful run we had the last time, I think continuing to update the mayor and council is probably the best. And at least one meeting with you all, possibly 2 or 3 down the road, because of the fact that you all want to know how we got to that decision, whatever that item happens to be. So keeping you all informed, mayor and council, I think should be our priority.
And the other part to that, I know, you know, in the past, the one that we just went through in 2022, I believe, we had quite a few questions, I think 7 or 8, and they all got shot down. The other part that I don't think that we did is, based off of what the commission recommended, is we didn't put out to the public, you know, what was going on and why some of these items were put up on the ballot, right? So as we're moving along, we're gonna have to really be, basically market as to why these changes are needed, because there was some changes that were voted no, even though we violated state statute. One of them was the 5th counselor. You know, we put it on, it still got it voted against it, so we're still kind of in violation. So those are the things that I don't think that the city made an effort to make the public aware of, you know, why some of these changes are needed. So that's another thing that we'll be addressing. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anybody else have any questions, suggestions?
Mr. Mayor, I think you suggested that a counselor be present at our meetings whenever possible. How do we make that clear to them, or that they're invited and,
I'll be in conversation with them, and I'll just make sure that we don't violate the,
right?
you know, the rolling quorum or anything, you know, whether they show up, you know, one or two at a time, just make sure that, if they don't show up personally, at least that they're watching, because it's important that they hear what you guys are discussing as you're making these decisions, so.
And may I ask, is that attorney pretty much committed to helping us?
So right now, what happened is, you know, we do an RFP process. We basically put out I wouldn't say a bid, it's proposals. Attorneys have, I think it was 45 days that we put it out? 45 days, so any attorney had the opportunity, based off of our scope of work, that we asked that this be part of the scope of work. And we only had the one, you know, one firm put in. And so right now, you know, the RFP, they already went through the, what is it called when you,
The committee reviewed
the committee
the
reviewed.
proposals.
So now they'll come before council on next Wednesday. And then, I mean, if everything goes right, then they're ready to start once the contract's signed.
Because if they decline for whatever reason, we're kind of back to square one without an attorney.
We currently have attorneys, but this one was specific and we got it for the Charter Commission. So they put in, so they shouldn't, the only thing that, worst case scenario is that the council rejects it, which I really doubt it. So, all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a thought at this point, and this might be for future meetings. In working with University Legal, they have a lot of flexibility in their schedule. So is this individual going to be at these meetings in person, virtual, a little bit of both, hybrid? Just because I understand they also have a lot on their plate, and something like this, depending on what that scope of work says, I just want to make sure that they're going to be present in some sort of capacity.
That's gonna be, I mean, if we need them here, then that's gonna be what the requirement's gonna be, like.
Okay.
Just, I know sometimes in government, you have contractors that feel that you work for them versus they work for you. And I'm under the impression that, you know, they work for us, so if it's you know, you guys require them here, we'll make sure that happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. Madam Clerk, on the timeline, when can we expect to receive that document? I think it would be helpful if we have it before the next meeting so that we can make sure that we stay on task and are staying on pace towards completing the process before March or April, whenever the exact deadline is.
Yes, I will get that to you as soon as I can. So I'm just going to revise it a little bit, and then I don't know if I need to take this to the governing body.
I think, Ms. Cassandra, you could probably just give him what you have,
Okay.
just so they kind of have an idea, and then, so they have somewhere to start, or what we were
Okay.
looking at one time.
And then in terms of the documents we receive, are those going to be typically sent electronically via email, or is there some sort of shared technology system we could access to the city? How is that going to work?
We normally send it via email
Okay.
as an attachment.
And we have to be very careful of rolling quorums. So that's another thing too. So we have to be careful that whenever we finally review stuff, we vote on it here. And it's sort of up to that point, the document, until it's finally approved overall. So I know that the clerk's very cognizant of the fact that we've got to keep track that we don't have a rolling quorum. All of a sudden, you know, everybody starts changing a sentence, a paragraph, and after a while, well, I don't remember it being all that. Now it's a whole bunch more. So we have to be careful of that. So, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, we really have to just, sorry, is it on? I don't think so. We just really have to be conscious of the Open Meetings Act and, you know, just making sure that we're, like you said, not editing a document across even through email because that is a rolling quorum. Or if we decide to do working sessions in periods, then obviously we could even, at least in my experience, I've always seen them break into subcommittees as well that don't actually have a quorum, and then they can come back to a commission meeting and then present those ideas for the commission's recommendations. And then Mr. Dominguez here had some suggestions that I think are important, so I'm going to push him to say them.
Thank you, Vice Chair Arianes. It's just a suggestion at this point, but this is my OCD kicking in. We roughly have 7 months, 10 sections in the charter, so it's about a section and a half per month, give or take. I think we'll get the working document from Madam Clerk, and then we'll schedule these out. And I think as we break them up, we can meet with the council, obviously, or a member of the council for review or feedback. And then at the end of this, you know, April, maybe that's when this document's final, submitted. I just don't want us, like Chairman Martinez spoke to, go through all this, and essentially we're back to square one.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Well, Mayor, any other comments, questions?
No, again, thank you for serving. This is, like I said, it's the most, to me, the most important commission or committee within the city, because you're putting together our laws that we have to abide by. So, you know, it's, you know, for you guys to be here in the seats that you sit on, there's some great responsibility moving, you know, for the future. So thank you guys for willing to do that. And I think we have a
Sandra?
good team here.
Anything else?
I will be reaching out to each of you with different probably documents attaching, and so that you can review. All of you are familiar with the Open Meetings Act. If we need to put that on the agenda and review, or if anybody has questions, we can do that. Chair, I don't know what your plan is for the next agenda, but we'll get together and talk about it.
And I think when it comes to the Open Meetings Act and the meetings and all that, that's going to be your department anyway. You have to make sure and post it and do all the stuff that's
That's
required.
correct.
You know, way back when I was a counselor, that wasn't a thing. When I was mayor, it started changing, and now it's a whole other car. It's not even an electric car, it's a virtual car now, I guess. So if there's nothing else the committee wants to do, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I do have one last comment or question before we adjourn. Are there particular outcomes that we should have completed before our next meeting? Are there certain things that we should have read or come prepared to have some feedback on when we next meet?
I'd have to go defer to Cassandra.
I would say to review the charter, get familiar with it. That'll take you a little while. Point out anything that you see that, needs to be revised or removed, or suggestions, whatever that might be. So that's your homework.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike disappeared.
So just as you move forward, two of the lights, I think 2 or 3, turn on at a time. So if somebody's trying to talk and yours is on, you can just easily press the button and it'll turn off.
Green button?
Yeah. And that'll open up a mic for somebody else, just moving forward.
Okay.
Picks up your voice if you're louder, but if not, then you have to move closer to it
Mike, you're good.
right.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no other items.
I'll second that motion.
I'll make it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second by Ms. Arianes. We did it backwards, but that's what ultimately happened. We had the second first, and then the first second.
First, second.
All in favor to adjourn the meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. I guess it's time to read.